Hey, welcome to the show, Benjamin William Hastings.
Uh, Hello. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's great to have you on. We're excited about everything that's happening for you at the moment. It seems like the last year things have really just blown up, right?
It has. It's been a whirlwind. It's been pretty crazy. It's nonstop, but it's been super fun. I've been loving it, and really cool to see people kind of responding to some of the music, and yeah, it's been awesome.
Well, we're really loving that song in particular, which we've been playing a lot lately.
Mm.
Tell us a little bit about you. Like, I read that are you from Northern Ireland? Are you born there,
Yeah,
and then you go to Sydney,
yeah.
Australia, and now you're in America? Like, tell us a little bit about
Yeah,
your
no.
story from coming from Ireland.
Yeah. Well, I was in Ireland until I was 19, and then moved to Australia at 19. Was there for 10 years. Met a girl. So my wife's Australian. Both kids are Australian. And then I moved out here a couple of years ago with them. And so my accent is an absolute mess. It only you only get Irish on the vowels on the I
Oh,
know
the vowels.
or
I can
Yeah,
hear
you
it when
yeah.
see
you
it
say
pops
that
through
word.
with the vowels. But aside from that, I don't know what it is. But yeah, it's been fun. I've enjoyed getting to live in a bunch of different places and I simultaneously feel a bit nomadic. I'm not really sure where
You must be
home is
quite
anymore, but
you must be quite adaptable though. Like, I mean, and like you said about your accent, Northern Irish is quite a strong accent, and then you go to Australia,
yeah,
and you must have picked it up. Even though later in life, a lot of people don't change at all, but
I
obviously
know.
you've got some of that going on, and now you can already hear some of the American coming through.
Completely. I think actually what happened was because when I was in Australia, I lived with like we were in a house of five guys, and four of them were American. So so I think that's what messed me up. It was like I had like a submersion of these two cultures at the same time, um, and my accent didn't stand a chance. And the other thing is, Northern Irish is not an easy accent. Like at its thickest, it's not easy to understand. Like and so when me and my dad talk, I fall back into it very quickly, and it's nobody knows what we're saying. But um,
Speaking your own little
but yeah,
private gibberish. That's cool. Hey,
completely.
so yeah, quite an incredible journey, and like you said, you got two kids, you're married, and now your music's really taking off. You kind of got introduced to everybody, I guess, through like Hillsong United
Yeah,
and some of the big songs you did with them, and now you're doing your solo thing.
yeah,
What's that been like, sort of transitioning out of United and under the Hillsong thing, and now
yeah.
your own thing?
Yeah, it's been really cool actually. I mean, it was a lot of this. The reason I kind of did it was for a long time I kind of felt like all my kind of creative outlets were sufficient for the songs that were kind of bubbling up inside me. Like I had avenues for with United, we had a lot of like free reign to kind of explore, and then with other people, I could write with other people, and um, but these songs started kind of popping up inside me that didn't really felt like that made sense anywhere else. Like it was like I don't know if anyone else can say that. It's so personal that that's probably something I'm going to have to sing. And that was really where conversation started. And a lot of them started with Joel, to be honest, who's been incredibly supportive and still like a part of everything I'm doing. Like he helped me write a bunch of the songs on the record, um, and so yeah, it's been really fun, kind of stepping out, being able to say things that I otherwise wouldn't be able to say, and kind of start, paint a bit of a picture, tell a story, and hopefully, give something to people that's a little bit different that maybe they resonate with in a different way. Um, but yeah, it's been awesome, and I mean, still a bunch of great people. I'm still friends with everyone. But yeah, it's nice. I just trying something different.
Speaking of your songs and trying something a little bit different, we actually play a segment on our show called Worship Wednesday where we battle out different worship songs. And I had picked your song, That's the Thing About Praise, one week because I was like, there is just
Hmm.
something so good about these lyrics. And you write in the song, most days faith is climbing up a mountain that stayed. That's why the only way through
Yeah,
it is a hallelujah. And I just wanted to ask you, like, where did that song come from and what is your sort of belief around that, praising your way through it and also seeing a
yeah,
victory on the other side, or when you don't see a victory on the other side?
yeah. No, that's great. I That song really came from it. It was a necessary song for the record. So in the sense that have this record. It's crazy long. It's like 25 songs,
Yeah.
and it covers all of these different topics. And so, and a big part of it is like wrestling with God. It's a lot of faith and doubt, and really like me in my own little existential crisis, while I'm also like, you know, trying to figure out what comes next and all of this stuff. So that song was kind of like when I got to the end of the project, I was like, okay, I feel like I'm in a better place than where I was when I started. And I think I need to find a way to summarize that and summarize it in a way that feels hopeful. But the resolve isn't that we're through it. The resolve isn't that like, oh, life's fine now, everything's good. Like I've figured out all this stuff. It's the resolve is, oh no, I might actually get through this. Like and maybe the way to get through it is to remember who God is. And while he doesn't always like flick away the mountain, he is a shepherd that gets you to the other side. So that was kind of the sentiment behind it. It was trying to put a bit of a, I would say full stop, but it's not really a full stop, is it? It was kind of like a comma at the end of the record, because that was the best I could offer. But yeah, I'm grateful that people are responding to it and responding to lines like the one you said, because it's not necessarily always the easiest pill to swallow that, but I think there's kind of like a beauty in it when you accept that, you know, God just doesn't do everything we want him to do, but he is still there with us the whole time.
I think
that's enough.
Yeah, it's really powerful, right? Like, I mean, I don't know, it seems like there's a trend of like quite a lot of honesty and vulnerability in a lot of Christian music these days, like with people actually sharing about their doubts and the things that they wrestle and struggle with, trying to understand God and where he appears in the world and how does that play out in your actual life, you know, rather than just kind of, I don't know, songs about everything always being together and working out. And that's not always the case for people, right? So it's like, well, how does...
Completely.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And obviously, you know, people are resonating with that. Now, like you said, your album is 25, pushing 26 now songs on it, because I think you just added another one. As if it wasn't already like long enough. Did anybody in the editing process be like, hey, Ben, I think you've actually got 2 albums here. Like you can just split this. Because that's quite unusual to have that many songs.
It's very unusual. And it wasn't really it was not on purpose, but it certainly was never meant to be 25. I think I thought it would end up at like 16 or something like that. And then it just kind of kept, I would write a song and I'd be like, well, if I say that, I probably have to say this over here. And then I'd write that song and they'd be like, oh, well, now I said that. So it kind of just, it kept happening. And what was funny was, so right up at the end, I actually didn't tell the label how many songs it was until like a week before. And they thought I was joking.
Surprise.
Good call.
And yeah. And so, but it was too late at that point. So they were like, okay, I guess we're doing this. And the day before, we were handing in all the masters, have a final meeting kind of the day before we'd done it all. And I had 24 songs. And it was with our marketing director, Matt.
You got Mary Poppins handbag with you. You just keep pulling up more.
It was like, he, as a joke, was like, he was like, did you go and add another song? And I was like, you know, just because you said that, I'm going to find a way to get something else in here. And so that's why there's this little voice memo of my kids. It's like track 4, but it's like a 10-second voice memo called Who's Eden, which is like a setup for the next song. But I did that purely because Matt was like, because Matt made that joke. And I was like, I'm going to do this. It's like, felt like permission.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Hey, and speaking of your songwriting process and all that kind of thing, you mentioned earlier that you met your wife in Australia. Now, I read that you guys got married after only 6 months and you actually both tried songwriting together for a little bit. Firstly, how did you meet? Yeah, and what happened?
Yeah. we got engaged after 6 months and then married after a year. So it was very it all happened really quickly. And she's an author. She's brilliant. And so we definitely hit it off over words. Like it was kind of it was one of the first sort of conversations we had where I read some of her stuff and I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. And I played her some songs and she didn't hit them. So it was a good, it's kind of a good starting point. But then we did try to write together and it was an absolute disaster. Like we just have very different styles. I'm very like, the first like 70% of the song, I let it all come, like very carefree, very whatever happens. But then I edit it for a long time after, and just like I'm very pedantic and I get obsessive, and it's probably not the best. But she's very good at just like splurting out and moving on. And to be honest, I mean, it's not fair because what she splurts out ends up being it's edited already.
Really
like,
good.
It comes
Yeah.
out edited.
Ugh.
We don't all have that gift. So she was very frustrated by like when we would write together, because she'd be like, "This is finished. What are we doing?" I'm like, "It's not finished. Like we've got like another 7 months to spend on this." And
7 months.
Look, I think a lot of people will be nodding their head, being like, hey, look, I love my partner. We are great together. We walk life together. We will never work together because that'll be the end of us. So I don't think you're alone in that situation at all. Hey, I know you got to go, and thanks so much for all your time this morning. Can you leave us with something? I mean, we're loving your song. That's the thing about praise. Can you leave us with another song that maybe we can end on, and we can play it to the audience, that just out of your album, out of your plethora of songs that are on there, something that, I don't know, is meaningful to you, or maybe people haven't heard, that you're like, have a listen to this and this is why you like it so much? What should we end with?
Sure. I mean, I don't know if this song has ever been played on radio. So, but
we'll do it, man. We'll go there. 100%.
All right. Probably my two favorite songs on the record are the two about my kids, and probably there's a song called Father's Blessing, which is like it's like a prayer that I am like singing over the kids, through the lens of the Irish blessing. And so that's probably my favorite. And then another one is Feels Like a Blessing. There's a lot of blessing.
No, we're playing that Father's Blessing one, man. I got two kids as well. Right. I'm looking forward to it already. I'm like, that sounds awesome. Amazing. I love the Celtic vibe. 100%. Yeah. Hey, well, thanks so much again, Benjamin William Hastings. We're loving the new song and excited about the album, and really stoked to see what comes from you in the future, bro. Thanks for taking some time with us.
Amazing. No, of course. Thanks so much for having me. It was a great chat.
Thank you.